Faith Files.
What's up? It's your boy back at it. You're now watching Blvd TV, but this is something a little different. First and foremost, I want to just say, excuse my appearance, but there's a reason why I look the way I look, and I'm shooting this right now. Procrastination. I wish there was a more eloquent word, nicer sounding word, but it's procrastination. I've been building this studio, small little setup behind me, for production and a lot of streaming, whatever, podcasts, whatever, what have you behind me. I have a whole setup over there, couch and everything. And my wife and I, we're going to have a little podcast we're going to be doing. But anyway, time is passing, and I'm thinking to myself, you know, this has to be perfect. This has to be perfect. I got to get this. I got to change the desk. I got to set this. I got to put this rack, this gear in the rack. I got to change my logo. I got to do it. At the end of the day, if something's in your heart for you to do it. Don't worry about what happens. And I'm going to explain to you why. I got this dirty black t-shirt on. My hair looks crazy. And I'm sitting here in the studio fixing things up still. And I'm still procrastinating. No more procrastination. We're just going to shoot it. Hopefully y'all get something out of it and enjoy, right? So this is a whole new series that we're starting. It's called Faith Files. What does that mean? Okay. I have a lot of crazy stories. I've lived a lot of lives. And I don't know, maybe some of my stories might be entertaining, might be insightful. And so I'm not embarrassed to share them with the world. So, Faith Files, episode 1. What is it about? We're going to talk about stories. This is a pretty crazy story that I want to share with y'all. So, I started DJing back in like 1993, going into 94. And my father, man, he's so supportive. I needed turntables. I didn't quite get the techniques right. I got Gemini BD10s. For those, I don't want to say nerds, but for those that are techie and know stuff, they might know what turntables I'm talking about. Belt drive turntables, they're not for scratching at all whatsoever. That's what I started with, as well as some other components that came out of his stereo system that he had in his living room. I noticed he wasn't using it. I started jacking them, jacked the amp, the tape player, and all that, and I became the pause tape king. Right? For those that DJ know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so started DJing in 94. Then it became a natural progression. What happened? I started rapping. This is around 94. Shout out to everybody that came through my house, all my childhood friends. We were all into music heavy. I should start speeding up the story. Okay, sorry about that. So long story short, around 97, I want to say 98, maybe 98. I don't even know how I met this person, but I met a good brother by the name of, you know what? We're not even going to say names. Should we? Should we not say names? I'm going to say the names, and if I want to edit it out, I'm going to edit it out later. But I met a good brother by the name of Shane Watkins, and he was known in the neighborhood by DJ Master Shane, right? He took a liking to me. He believed in me. He was the first person to believe in me. And what does that mean? I'm just looking at the levels. I'm sorry about that. What does that mean is that he began to feed me instrumentals, feed me beats, right? And put me in the studio. And we became more than just, you know, a business relationship kind of. We were friends. He was older, so he was like a big bro, whatever you want to call it. But musically, we locked in. He was great with production. He was great, engineer. He had a great ear. And he worked with a few people here and there. But anyway, long story short, he believed in me. He was the first person to believe in me. And I'm going to try to speed up the story so it doesn't get long-winded. I know I'm being super annoying saying that over and over again, but it's important that I say it to myself as well so I can stay on top of things. Anyway, So what happened? Became really good friends, and we started making music. But I'm not locked in anywhere, right? So I have the freedom to work with other people and other producers. And I don't recall who I met first, if it was him or Craig Mack. But that's a whole nother episode we're going to talk about. My experiences and my journey with Craig Mack and who he was and who he represents in my life, at least. But that's a whole nother episode. Anyway, I met a producer by the name of Bugs. His name was Timothy Green. We called him Bugs. Some people called him Born, right? He was from the Bronx. And so he began to feed me beats. He took a liking to me and believed in me, right? And I gotta just be honest with you. I was in no way, shape, or form ready for anything. Extremely green, wet behind the ears, didn't know my left elbow from my right, but I had a passion and I tried my best, right? Anyway, he began to feed me beats, and unbeknownst to me, he signed me up for this competition that was called the Coca-Cola True Talent Search. The True Talent Search. Coca-Cola True Talent Search is what it was called. You could Google it or whatever. I mentioned it in my bio, so it's up there on a few different sites. But I got selected amongst thousands of people to perform at the Apollo Theater and be one of those finalists to perform. This is June of 2000. Well, what happens? Around that time, I wasn't speaking to him as much. I was in the streets. I was getting in trouble, getting arrested, just doing stupid stuff, right? So we didn't speak as much as we used to. And even with Bugs, the same with Bugs. But remember, he had submitted my song and I got selected. He also had helped set up my publishing, my ASCAP. He helped me set all that up. He filled it all out for me. Man, he did a lot for me. And I'm forever grateful. But that's another story. We'll get into that one too. That's another crazy story. You'll get to know why I'm making these stories, because they're all kind of like connected, and it's all connected through music. Anyway, so I do the Apollo Theater, right? And it was a big, big thing. Beanie Siegel performed, Jay-Z closed the show. I went right before Jay-Z, I believe. I don't even remember. But my dressing room was on the 3rd floor. It was an incredible experience. But for people that don't know, around that time, that was like my first show, my first real big show. Now, that doesn't mean I wasn't on stage before with Craig Mack and other artists and stuff, but it was my first solo performance on my own. I'll tell you a quick story. I was so nervous. I was playing it off. I was cool. I was smooth and all that. I didn't know how nervous I was until it was a lot of steps that we had to come up and down, and through rehearsals and all that. And when I went to do the rehearsals, my legs locked on me. Literally, they locked on me. I couldn't go up. I couldn't go down. I was just super nervous. And I was acting fine. I was speaking fine, but my legs was locked. I was trying to play it off, right? So anyway, I just just remember that. But anyway, so Bugs got me in there. I do my rehearsal and all that, and I'm ready to do my show. Coca-Cola comes in. They make us do a commercial. They try to get all creative with it. Told me, close your eyes and freestyle. So I was closing my eyes and freestyle. They aired that commercial a few times on BT, like late night. And how I know, a few friends called me, told me they saw it. I never saw it. But anyway, so I do the show. I don't even mention it to Shane or anything. Remember, I'm with Bugs, right? And in the audience, Shane is there. But he got a look on his face, and I never remember it. And I know him so well at the time. It was in a combination of things. It was him being proud of me, but he was also upset. So the look was like a real kind of like smiley, upset, sinister kind of look, right? But he was like, he was shaking his head like this. All right, did my show, performed and all that. Came off, boom, boom, boom. We didn't see each other. He called me, I think we spoke, and he was like, yo, you know, it would have been nice if you would have shouted me out of my production company. I said, you're right. Absolutely right, my bad. You know what I mean? Whatever. And then from there, we didn't speak. Y'all wouldn't believe this, but I didn't speak to this man for years. For years. Years past. I'm ripping and running, doing things. Now I'm on the road with Craig Mack. We're doing shows and all this. And I get a call. I happen to be in my mom's house. I get a phone call. And I see it says Shane on it, Shane Marcus. I'm like, what? And I answer the phone. And he's talking to me as if we never stopped speaking. And my nickname in the neighborhood was Blanco. So he was like, Blanco. I was like, what's up? Shane, what's good, man? Yo, man, such and such, what you doing? What you been up to? And we just reconnected. We started talking. At the time, I was boxing in Gleason's gym and working out, training or whatever. I'm making it sound more than what it was. Anyway, oh, I'm about to head to the gym. Oh, word? I roll with you, bro. I was like, word? He's like, yeah. Yo, but like, you know, what you been up to musically? I told him I'm building a studio. I got this piece of equipment. I got that piece of equipment. Oh, you got the Phantom such and such? Yeah. He's like, yo, bring it through. And then from here, we'll roll to the gym. I said, all right, cool. So I went to his house. I brought the board, the keyboard, synthesizer, whatever you want to call it. And we hooked it up. We started messing around with it. And we instantly just reconnected, right? And started talking about what we've been up to more on a personal level. Anyway, then we pack up. We get in the car. I leave the board behind and we get in the truck. And we drive to Brooklyn at Gleason's. He's there with me. He's actually recording me. He had a camera. He was recording me. I don't know where that footage is. But he's recording me. This is when I was a lot slimmer, right? And younger. And so during my training, I see he's a little upset. He's on the phone and he's arguing with somebody. I'm like, yo, what's up? What's going on? He was like, yo, man, some crazy shit. You know, I got to get back to the house. Family shit. I said, okay, no problem. So I went, washed up, boom, changed my clothes. We jumped in the car and we drove back to Queens. Driving back to Queens, I remember this part. It was something that just, you know, some things our eyes see. It's like kind of like a movie, and it stays with us, right? So I remember he was standing there, and he looked at me, and it's so crazy. He looked at me, and was like, "Yo, it was good." And we didn't never talk like this. He was like, "Yo, it's really nice catching up, bro. I'm gonna hit you tomorrow." I said, all right, cool. But it was just the way he said it, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, without getting into crazy details, he passed that day. I'm a firm believer on, if you weren't there, you got to be very careful what you say, right? So I tend to try not to make statements, or definitive statements at least, if you don't know. Anyway, with that being said, apparently, and it's kind of difficult to explain because some things you'll explain, like you can explain it from a perspective of what you saw in the news or what you saw in the newspaper. You could explain it from a perspective from like what your friends told you, and then what the family told you. And yeah, we should lean on to the family, but it was just all over the place. So long story short is they were arguing over a family matter that pertained to money and the mortgage. The father had passed away. The mother was sick with cancer. I guess they were all chipping in to pay mortgage. Please forgive me for what I'm saying. If anybody sees this that knows the family, if I'm saying anything incorrectly, I'm sharing just my opinions, my views, and I apologize up front. If I say something that's out of pocket, I apologize. Long story short, I keep saying that. It was a family issue where the money was going in. Now it was if I recall, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it was like 4 brothers. And I was cool with the younger one too, but Shane was my guy. Then it was two older brothers, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, or at least one older brother. But they began to argue about the money. Apparently the young guy, the younger brother, was taking the money out of the account, not paying the mortgage or something like that. Long story short, he was confronted. They had a family sit down. They start arguing. And Shane runs to go get a gun. And if I recall, if the story is correct, it was an AK. It was a big one. And the younger brother, I'm not going to mention his name, runs off, grabs his gun. And I guess they start tussling with guns or something like that. And Shane's AK goes off. Bow! But when it goes off, it doesn't shoot the younger brother, it shoots the older brother in the stomach. Shane, realizing what happened, drops his gun. He was like, oh my God. And he goes to kind of aid his brother that he accidentally shot. And then what happens is the younger brother walks up and shoots him in the back of the head. I don't remember how many times, but he shot him. The younger brother then picks up the older brother and leaves Shane on the floor bleeding out. Get an ambulance, whatever. And they go off to the hospital. No mention of Shane laying there in the ground. It's a horrible situation. It makes me emotional even right now saying the story because it was just something crazy to live through. And I don't get a call the next day like I was expecting. And I'm calling him now, blowing him up, and I don't get an answer. I don't get an answer. The next day I'm calling. The phone picks up. It's his girlfriend. Tells me, Blanco, come down. We'll talk about it when you get down here. Yo, automatically I knew that something was up. So, jumped in my car, drove straight there. And that's when she tells me the news. And people are around there. There's blood everywhere. It's taped off. It's whatever. The younger brother initially doesn't get charged because the way he tells the story, and another family member who's even younger explained it was kind of like self-defense. But then later on the truth comes out, because the truth always comes out. And the real story came out. So they arrested him, charged him with tampering with evidence because the firearm that he used, he disposed of. I don't know if they found it or what, I don't know. Long story short is they arrested him, charged him with, that murder. So remember, the father passed away, the mother has cancer. The older brother's shot. Middle brother's deceased. Younger brother gets charged for the murder. What happens next? He hangs himself. Right? So he hangs it up. This story is absolutely insane. A lot of people they don't live through stuff like this, so it might be like, oh my God, but unfortunately, growing up in these neighborhoods, I got stories for days like this. Not glorifying it, I'm not saying it, but you do get desensitized at some point with these stories. Then one of the sisters, I believe, she was HIV positive and full-blown AIDS and then passed away. So the whole family went through some really tough times, right? There's a lot more that I would say, but I'm not going to share. I just wanted to share this story with y'all because some people might not, even in the wildest dreams, imagine that something like this is possible, but it happens. I'm sitting there now, what do I do? You don't want to be petty and like heartless, but my my keyboard was there, right? I was thinking of just not even saying anything. Just, how can I fix my face and say, yo, my keyboard's there, Let me get it out of the basement or whatever. It was just a crazy situation. I ended up, if you do want to know, I did ended up, those little feet going, that's my dog. I apologize. My dog loves it over here, and he likes to spend time with me, right? I guess, the reason why I wanted to share the story is because a lot of people might not relate, might not ever experience a situation like this, and I'm hoping that it might be a little insightful and open people's eyes to the reality of life and situations that you might experience. Now, I had a sensitive situation because I didn't know. I was young. Not only was I young, but I didn't know what to do. Should I mention, my keyboard being down there? I need to get it out of there. I still have that keyboard to this day, and this was over 20 years ago. Maybe about 25 years ago. 24, 25 years, and I still have it to this day, and I don't want to get rid of it. But yeah, we had his services, and I ended up, came up with a great idea. They set up his turntables on a table and all that, and I helped set that up, and I was there for the services, tried to be there with for his family. And man, it was a crazy situation, but the whole point of everything is this. This is why I decided to share this story with y'all. And this new series is called Faith Files. Why? Because it all comes full circle, right? In life, situations happen. We're put in situations for what we don't know, all learning experiences, right? But there's a lesson in everything. Remember, we haven't spoken in years. Out of nowhere, he ends up calling me. We reconnect. I go to his house, have a blast. We reconnect. We talk about life. We didn't even do any music. We just spoke about life. And he passes away the very next day. No, I'm sorry, the same day. Hours later, he spent that time with me. He could have spent that time with anybody, but he spent that time with me. And these are questions, these are things I think about. These are questions I have. Why? Why me? It could have been anybody. Could have been anybody, but he chose to spend that time with me. There's a message there. And to be very honest with you, I don't know. I really don't know. It's something that I have to, and I have been, thinking about. But what I can say is the moments that we have here on earth, we should try our best to always be on the same accord and to be, in great spaces with the people that we love who matter the most. Your best friend or friends, tell them you love them. There's nothing wrong with being a dude and telling your bro, like, yo, all right, man, take care. You're on the phone, you hanging up. All right, bro. Love you, man. Love you too, bro. Peace. There's nothing wrong with saying to another grown man, I love you. Yo, I love you, bro. I tell all my peoples, all my day ones, I tell them, yo, I love you, bro. Love you too. And it's reciprocated, but the point I'm making is the time that we have here on earth, cherish it. Live in the moment is real. And if you have any grudges, you feel any kind of way about anything with these people that have been around, communication is key. Try to get it on the table and talk about it, but try to make amends, because I could only imagine the times, the memories, the music that I could have created with Shane. So rest in peace, Master Shane. Thank you for believing in me. Thank you for being a friend, being there during an important time in my life where I was young. I was 18, 19, 18. I was like, that's the age. You're ready to go. You know what I'm saying? And if people aren't there grounding you, who knows? But thank you for watching. This is Faith Files, episode 1. One. Next one. It's going to be pretty interesting. Anyway, thank you for watching, y'all. Peace and love.